All right, everybody, welcome back. Brand new episode of TLC Talk here on the Sarah Fraser Show. You know what that means. Every single Wednesday, we dive into the deepest gossip from the TLC realm. You know, it continues with great sadness. Nobody could have anticipated last week the passing of Garrison Brown, of course, one of the children of Janelle and Kody Browns. Over the week, last week, I did a bunch of breaking news updates with everything that was coming down. He passed away last Tuesday, which was March 5th. So it's been a little over a week. And, you know, some of the things that were reported, I try to always make sure that multiple sources are reporting something before I ever put it out there. That's why sometimes I'm a little bit slower to the draw than other people are, because I always think you have to try to be as credible as possible. And maybe that is my background working for Fox 5 for so many years. Fox 5, when I was doing a true crime podcast or when we were doing stories, I mean, you had to have two sources that were willing to go on the record, or you had their contact, you had their stuff. They, you know, sometimes they could remain anonymous, but for a lot of stories, you needed people on the record to actually publish that or do that TV story. So there's some misinformation. Things have been retracted over the past week around Garrison Brown's death. What we do know is they did have an initial funeral for Garrison about 4 days after he passed away. Garrison's cousin, Emma Brown, on March 9th said that I wrote a social media post and said that I had to dress up today for your funeral. The funeral was in Flagstaff, and then she went on to pay tribute to her cousin, just talking about Garrison's smile and how amazing he was. And Janelle has shared that post multiple times on her social media. And then McKelty Brown, one of Janelle and Kody's daughters, I told you last week she had stopped Patreon, she and Tony. A lot of discussion around that. Is something going on with their marriage. And she alluded to, even in the post, that they had a lot going on personally. They had family things going on. Now, this was before his passing. And then since then, of course, we know that Garrison passed away. But she did post a video, McKelty did. I thought this video was very, very interesting. A lot of people have a lot of feelings on McKelty and Tony anyhow. And I've always been the first to say I never thought that Tony and Christine got along all that well. McKelty and Tony are dream interviews of mine too, okay? But she posted a video on her Patreon. It is back, addressing the passing of Garrison and also, you know, trying to look at anything positive that has come from this. So I'll play you a little snippet and then see what you think.
With Tony and I and
never mind. Hold on. Wrong interview. Okay, here it is.
I'm sorry, it's been a bit since Tony or I have posted new content or gone live. There were some set videos that were posted for last week. But I pre-done those and scheduled them out, and I just didn't want to deal with anything, so I just kind of left it as it was. I do have some scheduled posts for this week as well. I technically made them a while ago. Not a while, but pre-last week's events.
I can relate to the kids screaming.
So,
my own son.
I was in Flagstaff last week with my husband and all of my family. It was for obvious reasons. My brother passed away. It sucked a lot. I'm a bright side kind of person, and I always like to look at the bright side of everything. The bright side of his passing is he's obviously no longer in pain or hurting or sad, because he's in a better place. Of course, I hope he's in a better place. And the other bright side is I've got to see all of my family together for the first time in years. And I think that ultimately, obviously, Garrison would have been happy by that. You can come over here. Do you want to come over here?
Oh, I know how that goes. My son was doing that all last week.
Do you want to come up here and talk to them? How is that, Mama? That's Daddy's.
Okay.
I'm Mama. So, Thank you, sweetie. So, Tony and I will not be going live on Tuesday, but we will go live on Wednesday to go back to our regular routine and stuff. And I don't know if we're going to officially change it to Wednesdays or if we'll next.
All right. This goes on for a while longer, but she's posted this video. It's making the rounds. Obviously, people have a ton of opinions about this. She does go on to say there are going to be multiple further celebrations of life for Garrison, including a family reunion, a Brown family reunion that's going to be happening this summer in Wyoming. So we know that Garrison is being laid to rest by the family. And, I'm sure they all just continue to deal with it the best that they can with this horrific tragedy. I don't know. Multiple news sources are reporting they're continuing to film. A lot of people have very strong feelings about that. I don't know. You guys know I work closely with the TLC network, with many. I have not heard anything directly. The Sun is the one that reported it. And the Sun does have they do have multiple sources, not family members on the show necessarily, but friends of, cousins, allegedly. They have sources that are connected to the family that say they are filming during this. Now, I don't know, you can look at that a couple of different ways. They've been on TV for 14 years. Is it so much a part of your life? It is their job. It is their job. And I guess, when tragedy strikes in our own lives, at some point you go back to work. A lot of people move forward. Some people never do. So I'll be curious to see if that's true. The other thing that was retracted this week was, and that has not been retracted. That is out there. Again, multiple sources have picked up the Sun story and say that they are filming. There was also a story last week, which I did not include on my podcast episodes, about a Flagstaff care unit being sent to Kody and Robin's home. What's a care unit? Apparently, it's a unit in their town that helps people having mental health crises, comes to the house. So this was reported without a crystal ball's Instagram, and then today was said to be inaccurate. And it was inaccurate by In Touch initially, who reached out to the care unit, reached out to the police and asked, because originally it was posted that Kody had needed the care unit, that Kody was so inconsolable, beside himself because of what happened, that he needed a care unit. Despite a neighbor reporting to Without a Crystal Ball, a representative from the care team contacted Without a Crystal Ball's Instagram to confirm that no care members were at the Brown home on Thursday last week. They're posting a correction to this and apologizing for any inaccuracy that the reporting of the story may have inflicted on anyone. So there was no grief care unit for Kody. That's as far as what we know. We continue to see tributes coming from a lot of the kids, from Gwen. Leon posted a beautiful tribute. Mary has. Janelle continues to put that up. The other thing is, we talked about it 2 weeks ago here on the show. I talked about Janelle Brown is now a life coach. I was so excited. I talked about it. I told you guys, book her. Let me know how it goes. I want to book her. So I did have a couple of you reach out to me and say after Garrison passed that you had gotten confirmation notices that your meetings were still on. Then I had a person who, they thought their meeting with Janelle was scheduled, and they go to the meeting and she never showed up. So obviously, she, of course she wouldn't show up. I wouldn't even think she would, right? But this person legitimately was getting confirmations that the session was still on. So if you did book a course, I'm sure she's probably just even beside herself to handle the rescheduling, but obviously she's taking a lot of time. So we're going to continue to see tributes coming in from the family as they continue to honor him. And McKelty and Tony are picking back up their Patreon. So I do think you're going to hear more about maybe what was going on with Garrison behind the scenes leading up to his passing. Let's thank a sponsor. We'll move on to some other lighter things, including a new TLC show about tumors. Sorry. Sorry, this is so disturbing, and they just released the press release. OneSkin, you guys, I'm obsessed, and thank you for purchasing from my sponsors. Every time you listen to a commercial, it helps my show. I try to give you 7 days a week of podcast eps that are free. And the reason I'm able to do that is because you frequent and purchase from my sponsors. It means a lot. Please do it, and then let me know what you think of the product. Everybody loves OneSkin. OneSkin, where your body is feeling tired on your skin, on your neck, you need OneSkin. Now, what is amazing about OneSkin? It's their OS01 peptide, which reverses skin's biological age by reducing the number of those zombie cells by up to 50%. In a third-party 12-week clinical trial performed by third-party research, OS01 Face, which is their fabulous facial lotion, was clinically proven to strengthen the skin barrier, improve skin health, markers, and diminish visible signs of aging. Wrinkles were diminished in 87% of users. Right now, you're getting 15% off, baby, by using my code TSFS. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. I'm using it right now. You can go and check out my skin on my YouTube. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code TSFS at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with the code TSFS. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support my show and tell them we sent you. New year, healthier skin. That's OneSkin. Help your skin stay younger and healthier for longer, baby, with OneSkin. Other news, Olivia Plath, welcome to Plathville. I told you about a recent interview she did last week on the show. And, her sister had come on here, Lydia Meggs. Fabulous Lydia Meggs. Lydia had already told us that she and Olivia had filmed for season 6 of Welcome to Plathville, but now Olivia Plath is saying that she's so thrilled about it, and she loves that Kim Plath thought that she would quit. Kim did not want her to continue and be part of the show, and Olivia Plath says she is reveling a bit, and absolutely is so thrilled that she's going to be back on season 6. Kim was hoping that she went away, and nope, she did not. So there you have it. The other news is this tumor show I was going to tell you about. So TLC just dropped a new, obviously they put out press releases all the time, and in their press release, they now have a show that is all about people covered with tumors. Are you going to watch? Am I going to watch? Let's see. I am addicted to a Dr. Pimple Popper video. I am. It's called Take My Tumor. New episodes begin Wednesday at 10 p.m. on TLC. Okay, a woman covered in thousands of tumors. You're going to meet a woman who suffers from one of the most extreme cases of neurofibromatosis ever recorded. Tumors cover every inch of her body and obstruct her ability to breathe and swallow without surgery. Those growing tumors threaten her life. That's just one of the examples that is going to be on this new limited medical series, Take My Tumor. I don't know if I can watch. 3 doctors are featured. They even are going to feature the man with the spicy tumor, which airs May 8th. The enormous mass on the back of Arlen's neck and head constantly oozes fluid. I can't. But surgery may prove to be too challenging. A tumor on Rena's shoulder and back has caused her to retreat from the public eye, impacting her job as a care pastor. I cannot. Are you all ready for this? A tumor show. And now is this going to be satisfying or the nastiest thing you've ever laid your eyes on? Ooh. Take My Tumor, baby. When does it premiere? Wednesdays at 10 p.m. I told you that. Oh, April 3rd. April 3rd. Okay. My Dr. Pimple Popper is, I don't know how somebody lets, some of these people, it's horrendous, right? And they also live in other countries, so they don't have necessarily the access to healthcare we do. But on Dr. Pimple Popper, I do not understand how people let their growths get so big on their back that she is numbing them, jabbing them with pencils, and just oozing with pus. You're telling me nowhere along the line before you auditioned for this TV show did it occur to you to go in? I mean, some of them they have some sort of weird thing where they refill constantly, but I cannot. I cannot. Oh, a bit of housekeeping. Let's do some housekeeping here on the Sarah Fraser Show. Yesterday on my show, Scott Warren and Amanda Wilhelm she was from Before the 90 Days. Remember with Rosvin? Oh my God, sexy, hot Rosvin. They were on the podcast. This is a sassy interview because are these two together or not? Like, what is the story? And I do think they could end up together. Could they be a full-on 90-day fiancé couple that makes it? Because she's attracted to older guys. Her husband, she talks about it on the podcast yesterday, was 18 years older than she was. She has 2 children with him. Sadly, he passed away from cancer. And then in less than a year, she did the Before the 90 Days with Rosvin. So she talks about that. She says if that was a good decision or not a good decision on the show. And then Scott, people have concerns. Scott all right? He did a drunken video where he said he has no money. He's living in a camper. So I asked him, I said, why don't you just quit social media? Why are you on here? Why are you, people, every time you put up anything, people are going to come for you. Don't you want your own peace of mind? Get off the internet. He answers that. I actually thought he had a good answer for that. I did. Tammy Slayton is telling people that she does not look like Peter Griffin, the character from, what is that, Family Guy? Where's Peter Griffin from? She is telling people to get the fuck off her TikTok. Now, I'm still banned. Banned from a lot of shows. I'm banned from a lot of people now. I got to get a Finsta. I don't want a Finsta. I don't want a Finsta. Like on a whole nother phone. Because did you know this? I was talking to another podcast friend of mine, and she has Finstas. But the problem is she says that you get these Finstas, and if the person blocks you and all accounts you have that are associated with your phone or email address, then you can't even see their stuff on your Finsta. I don't want a Finsta. I'm too busy. Who has time to have a Finsta? So Tammy Slayton and I remain blocked, okay, on her TikTok. And she's telling people she does not look like Peter Griffin, the fictional character from Family Guy. And she wants people to stop writing that. She says that she worked for her turkey neck. She worked hard for it. And if you've got no name and no picture on your profile, keep your fucking mouth shut. I agree with that. Actually, that's like profound words from my girl Tammy. I'm with it. I get so fired up, and then I go and look at people, they have no profile, or they have like a profile picture of a cat, and I'm like, okay, why do I care? This person isn't real. They're probably a bot from Russia. No, I swear. I think TikTok, anytime one of your videos gets any amount of attention, they sick the bots on it to keep it going so they can make revenue money off of us, and I don't believe half of the hate is real. But I don't think she looks like Peter Griffin. People think she looks like Peter Griffin. Happy birthday to Kim Menzies. She turned 54 this week. Remember Kim with Usman? She's been on my podcast multiple times. Our girl Kim. Kimberly. Happy birthday, Kimberly. She's a friend of this show. We love you. Live it up, girl. We know she's not getting the D from Riley. She's getting the D from somebody else, and he's American. Yay! Get some birthday dick, girl. Woo! We love her down in San Diego. Oh! People are coming out of the woodwork to continue to hate on Angela Deem. What was the point? What is going on with Angela Deem and Michael? Now, I'm not going to say who, but people, I know a lot of people in my DMs, some of them have been on my podcast, some of them haven't been on my podcast. A lot of people, Angela's got friends. People are defending Angela. I told you I was the first one to say I want a picture of her, so somebody slide into my email. thesarahfrasershow@gmail.com. Michael has a girlfriend in Georgia. He has a girlfriend in Georgia. He had her for a long time. He was planning to run away from Angela. He's been on and off and married to her for 5 years, 5 or more years. And he wants nothing to do with her. So at least that's what this source says. I want a picture of the girlfriend. Where is she? I want the first photo. So send it to thesarahfrasershow@gmail.com. However, Angela has been putting up all these motivational quotes on her IG story. And she's also done videos of her with a lot of filler, like filters, not filler. I'm sure she said that too. But lots of filters. She posted one with Hulk Hogan and Nick Hogan. People were like, oh, awesome. You know, Nick Hogan, like, how many DUIs has the guy had? Like, okay. And so people are just saying that she's distracting. She's trying to distract from essentially being so abusive to Michael that he left and trying to gain her and garner sympathy in any way she can so people will love her. Get it, Angela. Come on my podcast, girl. Let's talk about it. Where is Michael? Where is Michael? Michael. All right. He's got another girlfriend. That's where he's at. Everyone wants to know how much of this was staged, or did she have an inkling? And as I said, my source says that Nigerian Americans will often help other Nigerians who are here get with other people, get a burner phone, get other credit cards, get replacement, passports, all those things. So if they come here and they're unsafe, they can leave and still carry on. I don't know how that's going to happen. I would think he could be up for deportation, being deported if he's not with her, but maybe if he's not with another American chick, it'll be all good. We shall see. But that is, so Angela, I brought that up to essentially say her posts are getting a fair amount of, I guess, people wanting her to speak more on what happened and are really trolling and coming for her. So we shall see. Otherwise, in the TLC world, everyone is getting very excited for part 2 of the Tell-All for Single Life, which airs every single Monday. There's 2 parts left, so everyone is very curious for the conclusion of that. And the Tell-All has been super juicy so far, of course, with Chantel, our girl family Chantel, and everybody on that Single Life. Natalie Mortzadova and Josh going back and forth. What is going on with them? And is Natalie Mortzadova going to get the baby that she wants? Oh, lastly, let's talk about Paul Stahl. He is the one, Paul and Karini. He gave a podcast interview recently. Shout out to Dominic Natty Show. He gave a interview this week. I don't know why I even am somewhat interested in Paul and Karini. I have no idea. I shouldn't even report on them because I've always said this. I just don't even think the elevator goes all the way to the top with either one of them. I'm a mother. Many of you listening are mothers. The idea of losing your children. You realize they lost their 2 boys back in 2022. We're going on 3 years. 2, but you know what I'm saying. They have lost custody of their children. That to me would be the only, I cannot even imagine having KJ taken away from me. That would be the lowest of the lows. That would kill me. That would break me. These 2 continue to, he's allegedly faked his death in the past few months. Karini, a lot of people felt Karini was in on it. She paid a tribute to him. Paul, you were a great father, even though you suck and we haven't seen our children. She didn't exactly write that, but she wrote what a great dad he was. Anyway, long story short, he was still alive in the Brazilian jungle getting it on. So he gives this very bizarre interview this week where he also says he wants to date Angela Deem, and he finds Angela Deem to be hot. Their 2 sons, Ethan and Pieri, were removed from their care in 2022, and as of June of 2023, the boys were in the care of Paul's cousins, whom he claimed had taken the children out of the state of Kentucky illegally and was trying to obtain permanent custody. You may also recall Paul was wanted at one point for allegedly kidnapping one of the children and taking them out of state. He claims that, but he also had a alleged kidnapping plot with that. He says that Karini did see their kids just before Christmas of this past year. He claimed that he hasn't seen the boys himself since June or July of 2022. Now, I'm going to be honest. For those boys' sake, I feel like that's a good thing. However, again, as a parent, and many of you are parents, this would be so upsetting. Paul said that Ethan and Pierre are still in his cousin's care, though he alleged there is, quote, a lot of stuff going on with my cousin we found out was illegal, which we're dealing with. Paul did not provide any further explanation on the podcast, and he claimed he's absolutely interested in gaining full custody of his sons, despite the fact that he currently resides in Brazil. Seems a bit of a conflict there. I'm doing things here, trying to deal with finances and things work-wise to make sure all ends are met, which is difficult, he said, claiming that he has more opportunities to make money in Brazil than he does in the United States. That actually is the only part of this story so far, I believe. I mean, it's getting rough. It's getting rough to make it here in the good old US of A. So actually that part, he may be in demand there. So I'm with him. He also says, that was it. And then he goes on to talk about anybody in the 90 Day Fiancé franchise he'd be interested in dating. And he said, quote, I don't know, Angela Deem is looking pretty good. Huh, wouldn't that be quite the combo? Now that would be something really hot. So there you have it. We're going to get some new 90 Day shows coming up, which I'm happy about. It's time. I'm going to be watching Happily Ever After, for sure. And we certainly will see more in the coming weeks, according to McKelty, that the family has more. They're going to be having more ceremonies again next month. And then, as I mentioned, about the family reunion that's coming up. Still so much, so hard to deal with. Break your heart. All right, one last thing, because I do think okay. No, we're good. We're good. Check out my interview with Scott Wern and Amanda Wilhelm. So great. Also tomorrow, I have a Vanderpump Rules Season 11, Episode 7 recap with the one, the only, David Yontef. He'll also be back on Friday and Saturday. We dish all the tea on Bravo. And then stay tuned. We have some big shows coming up in the next couple of weeks. And I will be resuming on Monday my Sister Wives, watching from the beginning while we wait for the end. Season 1, Episode 5. So thank you for subscribing to TSFS. Love y'all. Bye, everybody.